Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Boy, God, isn't this great? What a great day in Arizona. Oh! I'd like to thank each and every one of you great Americans out there, patriots, and my comrade in arms, the men and women who serve this great nation to keep us safe and free. God bless each and every one of you. On behalf of the 21 Medal of Honor recipients and the over 200 general officers and admirals that support Donald Trump, because we want leadership again. We want somebody who's going to keep our country safe and free. Ladies and gentlemen, I have said around, this is the most trying time in my lifetime. We cannot stand 4 more years of this type of leadership. America should not be bowing down to other countries. America should stand tall. You know, we talk about how this great nation was represented by the Constitution of the United States. Well, Mr. Obama and Secretary Clinton are trying to change it to the Obama-Clinton, so we cannot let that happen. I'd like to ask you one question. How many jobs has Mrs. Clinton got started in this great nation of America? I want you to look at Mrs. Clinton's vote record. How many times has she voted on behalf of the men and women in uniform? And we look for leadership. Let me ask you, ladies and gentlemen, have we forgotten Benghazi? Is that who we want to sit in the White House and say, I've got your back? Ladies and gentlemen, we need true leadership. We need somebody we can look up to. Ladies and gentlemen, the bureaucrat government in Washington, D.C. needs to go down the drain. We need a person of leadership. So what I'd like to do right now, ladies and gentlemen, I have the great honor and the great privilege to introduce the next president of these United States, Donald Trump.
The American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. That I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I am so thrilled to be back in Arizona. And I just rode the line. I went outside They say they have 15 to 20,000 people outside. I've never seen anything like it, except at other Trump rallies. Pretty amazing. And they're watching on a big screen, and I just want to thank them very much. They're all outside. It's a little bit hot. That line is very long, but all of the folks outside, we want to thank you very much. We love you. Thank you. And if anybody in this room would like to give up their place to some of the people outside, please raise your hand. Raise your hand. In 35 days, we are going to win this state, and we are going to win back the White House. We're going to make America rich again. We're going to make America rich again. I'm going to end illegal immigration, stop the massive inflow of refugees, keep the jobs from pouring out of our country. They're going one way, and it's only out. Our disastrous trade deals and massively reduced taxes. And I will tell you, we are going to reduce taxes, big league, and regulations on our workers and small businesses will be cut in half or more than that. Thank you. My economic agenda is very, very simple. Jobs, jobs, jobs. I want to send our best wishes to our great Governor Mike Pence as he prepares for his debate tonight. Great guy. The debate will be a contrast between our campaign of big ideas and bold solutions for tomorrow versus the small and petty Clinton campaign that is totally stuck in the past. Totally stuck in the past. We are change. She is for 4 more years of Obama, and we can't take that. Clinton can't talk about real problems facing our country because she's the one who helped create all of those problems in the first place. They're not going to be able to do anything about it. To hide her corruption, she deleted 33,000 emails after getting a congressional subpoena. Wow, how she got away with that one. How she got away with that is a disgrace. Hillary Clinton has been there for 30 years and hasn't fixed anything. She talks and talks and talks. In fact, she's just made things a lot worse. She failed in upstate New York, promising to create 200,000 jobs, but manufacturing is down in New York State by almost 40%. She failed overseas, unleashing death and destruction, and she failed Latinos and African Americans, producing only more poverty in our inner cities. By the way, is there any place that's more fun or creative to be than a Trump rally, right? And there's no place safer, believe me, there's no place safer. So now, after years of failure, she complains about how I've used the tax laws of this country to my benefit. Then I ask a simple question. Why didn't she ever try to change those laws so I couldn't use them? You know why? She could have changed the laws when she was in the United States Senate, but she didn't. She named a few buildings, that's all she did. The reason that she did not do that is her donors and contributors have used those same tax laws as I did, the same way. I know all of their names, and I know who they are, but it's not up to me to make them public figures. But just check it out. Two public Hillary supporters who are known are George Soros, who declared losses of $1.5 billion. Soros declared 1.5 losses, $1.5 billion in just 6 months. And Warren Buffett declared $873 million. Ask them, did they write off those losses? Oh, I doubt it, right? Oh, I doubt it. And there are many, many more. Many, many more. We could go through a long list, but just take a look at her donors. I know how the tax code works better than anyone, and I'm going to fix it so it's fair and just and works for you. Works for you. These politicians, folks, don't have a clue, and if they do, they can't do it because their donors won't let them. Remember, I'm my donor. I'm my donor. We have created a movement like has never been seen in this country before, a movement that even our enemies back there, look at all that press, among the most dishonest people in the world. But even our enemies in the press say it's one of the great political phenomena of all time in the history of our country. But we have to get out and vote on November 8th, or frankly, this movement was just a waste of time, energy, and money. We have to get out and vote. And do your early ballots if you can. I've made my money as a very successful private business person following the laws of our country. Hillary Clinton made her money as a corrupt public official violating the law and putting her government office up for sale. Remember, she left the White House, they said they were broke, and now they're worth $250 million. How did that happen? The problems we face as a country are immense, and it's going to take bold action to turn things around. Right now, we owe $20 trillion in debt. It doubled under President Obama, doubled. Our infrastructure, roads and everything, is like a third world country. The homicide rate last year experienced in its largest cities, single year increase, it's the biggest in 45 years. Think of that. The biggest single increase, 45 years. Homicide, 45 years, biggest increase. Our border is wide open, and drugs and criminal cartels are pouring into the country, and nobody knows that better than the people of Arizona. Nobody. And we're going to stop it. We're going to stop it fast. We're going to build the wall. Mexico's going to pay for the wall. We're going to stop the drugs from pouring into Arizona and every other state in our union. poisoning our youth. We're going to stop it. And I want to thank Sheriff Joe, who's been a supporter right from the beginning. Thank you, Sheriff Joe. And I want to thank the Border Patrol and ICE. Both of them gave us their endorsement. They've never done it to any presidential candidate before. So Sheriff Joe, Border Patrol, 16,500 Border Patrol agents, and ICE, we want to thank you for your endorsement. Amazing. They've never given it before. Thank you. Thank you. Thousands of refugees are being admitted with no way to screen them, and they're instantly made eligible for welfare and free health care, even as our own veterans die waiting for medical care that they desperately need. Our annual trade deficit with the world is nearly $800 billion a year. Who the hell negotiates these deals? Oh, it's going to change. It's going to change. Think of it. Trade deficit, almost $800 billion a year. It's going to change so fast. Have you watched the stock market? Whenever I do well in the polls, other countries, their sort of stock goes down a little bit. Their stock goes down a little bit. It's not going to be much, but we want to have a fair deal. We don't want to lose $800 billion. For what? For what? Remember this, folks. America first. America first. It's about time. America first. The federal budget is a complete and total disaster. Our State Department, mostly under the watch of crooked Hillary Clinton, misplaced, listen to that, misplaced or lost $6 billion in taxpayers' funds. How do you misplace $6 billion? We have the worst recovery, and I say so-called recovery, since the Great Depression, the worst. We're not growing as a nation. We're down to 1%. Do you know if China goes down to 7 or 8%, it's like a national catastrophe. They start devaluing their currency. They do all sorts of things to take more business out of our hides. We're at 1%. 1%. And we act like, oh, it's wonderful. Let me tell you, folks, we're in a bubble, and we have to be very, very careful. And we need strong leadership and smart leadership. We need leadership that knows what's happening. We're a nation divided with race riots in the street. You look at what's going on. Race riots in the street. Our college students graduate loaded with debt only to discover they can't find jobs, or certainly not the jobs they're trained for or the jobs they want. Overseas, our failed leaders have empowered Iran. Iran was nothing 3 years ago. And now they're telling us what to do. How do you figure that? They were nothing. And they are on their way very easily to nuclear weapons because of one of the dumbest deals in the history of our country. That deal with Iran is a disgrace. We've unleashed ISIS. That came out of the vacuum created by Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, the way they got the troops out. We've turned Iraq, Libya, and Syria into total chaos. Our allies aren't paying their fair share for military protection. Foreign countries like Russia and China do not respect us. You saw it just today. Russia broke the deal on peace in Syria. Russia. No respect for this country. They have no respect for our leadership. They have no respect. Putin has no respect for Hillary Clinton and no respect for Obama. Russia broke the deal. And now they're shooting, they're bombing. Something like that should end, and it should end fast. It's very sad. But they don't respect us. And our tax-paying citizens send troops and foreign aid all over the world, even as their own cities can't provide the most basic services. America needs a turnaround, and needs a turnaround fast. America needs a comeback. America needs change. Change. And that's why I'm running. That's why I'm running. First, we are going to repeal and replace Obamacare. The architect of Obamacare, you remember this from 2 years ago? Jonathan Gruber admitted in front of a group of his so-called friends, unfortunately one of his friends wasn't so friendly, admitted that the whole sales pitch on Obamacare was a lie. He called it the stupidity of the American voter. Do you remember that? But the only stupidity was the stupidity of our leaders who passed this disaster into law over the objection of the American people. And it was all a big lie, because without the lies, it would have never passed. Even the Democrats would not have voted for it. President Obama said, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Remember? He promised his plan would reduce premiums by $2,500. Instead, they went up by over $5,000, and people can't afford it. Now, did you hear yesterday? Did you hear yesterday? Of all people, maybe he's not a very good surrogate. I don't think so. President Bill Clinton came out and told the truth about Obamacare. This was yesterday. He's absolutely trashed President Obama's signature legislation. Remember, Hillary Clinton called Obamacare one of the greatest accomplishments of President Obama, of the Democratic Party, and of our country. Give me a break. You see what's happening with your premiums? They're going through the roof. Some are up 60, 70, 80%. But Bill Clinton has a much different view. This was yesterday. Here is what Bill said. He just said it was a crazy system where people end up with premiums doubled and coverage cut in half. He's right. He said it's the craziest thing in the world. These are exact quotes, by the way. I'm not, these are exact. Bill Clinton said, quote, people out there are busting it, sometimes 60 hours a week, and wind up with their premiums doubled and their coverage cut in half. The people getting killed in this deal are the small business people and the individuals who make just a bit too much money and they need the subsidies. They have to get help. He said they're making just a bit too much. He's actually right, right? Clinton added that it doesn't make any sense and that the insurance model doesn't work. Now, I've been saying that for a long time. At least he's honest. He's very late. In the meantime, she wants to double down on Obamacare. I'll bet he went through hell last night. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Can you imagine what he went through after making that statement? He went through hell. But honestly, there have been many nights when he's gone through hell with Hillary, in all fairness. Yeah. Well, I want to thank him, honestly, for being honest. I want to thank him because that's it. It's not a great secret. That's it. Exactly what he said is it. Which is why on my first day in office, I am going to ask a Republican Congress to send me a bill to immediately repeal and replace Obamacare. Right? This is essential for Arizona. Because of Obamacare, most of the state will only have one carrier next year, if you can believe that. They're all leaving. All the insurance companies are pulling out. And premiums are expected to go way above 50% next year. Good luck, folks. You better hope Trump wins, I'll tell you what. You better hope. You better hope. You better get out there and vote. 50%. And by the way, above 50%, and your deductible is so high, you'll never be able to use it, hopefully. Unless it's a really low, slow, violent death. Because otherwise, you'll never be able to use it. Your deductible is so high that you'll never be able to. So you're paying far more, and you're getting nothing. You're never going to be able to use it. Deductible's too high. Early ballots are mailed out on October 12th in Arizona. And you need to mail them back as soon as you can. Next, and very important for this state, and I love this state. You know, this was where I made my first major speech when I decided to run for president. And we had a massive crowd. And everybody was like surprised, except for the people that were in the room and me. But everybody was surprised. Remember that we had a crowd, I guess almost the size of this one. Because when we double up outside and triple up, nothing's the size of this one. But we had a massive crowd. And a lot of people, like real professionals, like Drudge, who's a great guy, and others, said, I think we just met your next president. They couldn't believe it. And we went around. We had 17 people running, and one by one, and now we're down to one person. One person. One person. And it's the difference between making America great again and having a failed nation, because she will create a failed nation. 4 more years of Obamacare, we cannot take it, and I think she'll be worse. I think she will actually be worse than President Obama, if that's possible. So next, we're going to unleash American energy. I just met with energy producers in Colorado. I was in Colorado for the last day and a half. By the way, the crowds were like this. The people here, the people there, the people in our country are amazing. They are great. They are great. Such incredible people. And these leaders in the energy field are pleading with the government to let them create jobs and wealth for the United States. But it's virtually impossible. As part of our plan to reach 4% growth, and I think we can do much better than that, and create at least 25 million new jobs, we are going to lift the restrictions on shale, oil, natural gas, clean coal, and all forms of job-producing American energy. Fixing our trade deals will be the foundation of our economic revival. Do you remember on June 16th of last year, I ran? And one of the primary things was immigration, illegal immigration, wall. Okay, we know that. The other thing was fixing our trade deals. Because we are the worst. You know, we have the greatest negotiators in the world in our country, but we don't use them. We use political hacks, and we're going to fix our trade deals. China, Japan, and Europe are printing huge sums of money. The devaluation of currencies is staggering as to what it represents for our country, our businesses, and our citizens. They're taking our businesses away. They're taking our jobs away. We're not on a level playing field, and our politicians don't understand what the hell is going on. They don't understand it. And the ones that do aren't going to do anything about it because they're taken care of by the companies that are benefiting, okay? They're not going to do it. Our jobs are being lost in massive numbers, and we're not making things in America anymore like we used to, not even close, and we're going to change that. Too much is being made in other countries. When I'm president, we will start making things in America again. Companies like Apple and others will start making their computers and iPhones in our country. Our nation has lost 1/3 of its manufacturing jobs since Bill Clinton signed NAFTA, one of the worst trade deals anytime, anywhere, anyplace. And I'll tell you, that was a deal that was heavily supported by Hillary Clinton. The signing of NAFTA was perhaps the single worst trade deal ever made, not in this country, anywhere in the world. It wiped out huge sections of our manufacturing and other things. And believe me, we're going to do a lot about that. That's easy. Hillary's Korea deal also cost us another 100,000 jobs. She signed a deal with Korea, you know that, with South Korea, and it was supposed to be a wonderful deal. It turned out to be a wonderful deal for South Korea. For us, it turned out to be catastrophic. Take a look at the jobs we lost on that one. Since China entered the World Trade Organization under the Bill and Hillary back deal, 70,000 factories have shut down or left the United States. When I saw that, I said, wait a minute. That has to be a misprint. 70,000? That's the correct number. 70,000 factories shut down. That's 15 factories closing a day on average. She did a great job. And you know, Bill Clinton, people think nicely. We all think nicely. What he did, he made it very tough for the people that followed him. That I can tell you. Never in history has a country surrendered so much of its wealth and jobs to foreign countries. As the factories leave, our money leaves with them and our jobs dissipate. Stores close, schools suffer, the tax base erodes, wages fall, and the quality of life totally declines. We have people right now in this room who were making more money 18 years ago with one job, one good job that they loved. Their company left. Their company fired them and left. Now they're working harder. They're older, right? They're older. They have 2 jobs and sometimes 3 jobs instead of 1. And you know what? They're making less money. And the only thing I can say is I'm also working harder, folks, believe me. Believe me. If you think this isn't work, this is work. But I see the end, I see the result, and the result is we are going to win on November 8th, and we're going to make America great again. We've rebuilt other countries at the expense of our own. That's not going to happen anymore. And we're going to get along. We're going to get along with countries. I mean, look at China. China drains money out of us like we're a bunch of babies. And yet they build a massive military base in the South China Sea, which they're not supposed to be doing. So they take our money and then they do whatever they want to do. Same thing. I mean, look at Iran. We've made them rich, we've made them strong, we've made them powerful so quickly. And then they taunt us. They capture our 10 sailors. They taunt us. And they would have never given them back, except all of those payments started. The $150 billion that they get back started. How about with Iran, the $400 million in cash? And then it turned out to be wrong. It was actually $1.7 billion, they say, in cash. That much cash will fill up that side of the arena. I want to tell you, Nobody's ever seen stupidity like it. And now, what do they do? What do they do? They were in such bad shape. What do? They taunt us by having their boats going around our cruisers. They taunt us by having their jet fighters near our planes. So they feel emboldened. Instead of saying thank you very much, they feel emboldened. Well, we're going to make sure they do the right thing. I can tell you that, folks. It's going to be a whole different ballgame. Going to be a whole different ballgame. It is so sad to see what's happened to our country. And that's why, like Mike, our Congressional Medal of Honor winner, what a great guy. We flew in together. What a great guy. The recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor, we have 21 and 200 admirals. Think of this. 200 admirals and generals are endorsing us because they're sick and tired of us being the weak and very stupid country. We are led by people that don't have a clue. We're led by a man that can't use the term radical Islamic terrorism. It's sad. Companies like Carrier, General Electric, Motorola, Mattel, Fiat Chrysler, and so many others are moving their jobs to Mexico and other countries. And as you're standing here right now, many of these companies are negotiating to leave the United States. Not going to happen. And now Ford has announced 2 weeks ago that it's moving all of its small car transportation and production to Mexico. Think of it. That's on top of the massive $2 billion that they're all, and you saw 2 years ago. And I think that's why I'm going to win Ohio and Michigan, because 2 years ago, all right, get him out, get him out. Oh, doctor? Is there a doctor in the house, please? Get a medic, please. Thank you. A doctor, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Is he okay? He looks like a tough guy to me. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good. Great guy. You know, some of these people have been waiting here 10 hours. So, and it's hot. The other day they said on television, Donald Trump was making a speech, and it looked like he was sweating. It was 109 degrees in the room. What am I going to do? It's hot in this room, too. Thank you very much. We love you, man. Thank you. And that's why I think we're going to win the state of Michigan and Ohio, because I've been talking about the car business and the car production capacity moving to Mexico. I've been talking about it for 6 years, and you look at what's happening. Mexico is like the 8th wonder of the world in terms of the factories they're building. You know the story. I have a friend that builds plants, and he tells me what's going on in Mexico is unbelievable. I say, what about the United States? He goes, not so much. We're going to have that changed. We want Mexico to do great. I met with the president of Mexico, great guy. But we want Mexico to do great. But you know, it's got to be a two-way highway, doesn't it? It has to be a two-way highway. So we're going to bring back our car production. We're going to win Michigan. We're going to win Ohio. We're way up in Ohio, by the way. And we're way up in Arizona, from what I hear. We're going to renegotiate NAFTA, and if we don't get the deal we want, we will withdraw immediately from NAFTA and start all over again, and we will create a much better trade deal. You know, NAFTA's under a different tax system. They're under a VAT system. And the deal is defective, and it's been that way for many years. And when we sell into Mexico, we get charged a big fat tax. And when they sell into us, they get no tax. It's a defective deal. That's why you don't see deals coming the opposite direction. So it's been so defective. Why didn't people like Hillary Clinton and these people in office renegotiate that deal with Mexico right away? Okay? Because you can't have the deal that way. We're also going to stand up to foreign currency manipulation, which is the single greatest threat that we have on our trade, and there is nobody that does it better than China. They are grand masters. And we're going to apply tariffs and taxes to countries that cheat. It's very simple. Jobs will leave from other countries and come back into the United States, believe me. Factories will come rushing home, our schools and communities will be revitalized, and our poorer citizens will get new jobs at higher pay and have brand new hope for their lives. And I want to thank, she's here someplace, Governor Jan. Where's Jan? Where the hell is... Thank you, Governor. Thank you. Boy, that's a good group with Sheriff Joe, and that's a good, and Jeff and everybody, thank you, and Joe, thank you. She's been such a great supporter right from the beginning, and I want to thank her, really, thank you. But to be a rich nation, we must also be a secure nation. Security begins at the border, right, Joe? A nation that doesn't control its borders is not a nation at all. A country that doesn't protect its people just isn't a country. Our government that doesn't put its own, and remember this, when a government doesn't put its own citizens first, this is a government unworthy and unfit to lead its people. Totally. Look at the crime. Look at the drugs. Look at how our youth is being poisoned. Just poisoned. And not only our youth, but look at our youth as being poisoned by the drugs that flow in from our border. We're going to stop that so fast your heads will spin. Here are some heartbreaking examples of how our government has failed our citizens. Countless Americans who have died in recent years would be alive today if not for the open border policies of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. She wants totally open. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Enjoy yourself. Pick up your health care. Pick up your health care better than your veterans. Better than our veterans in many cases. This includes incredible American lives, like 21-year-old Sarah Root, whose parents I've gotten to know, and they're incredible people. Heartbreaking. The man who killed her arrived at the border, entered federal custody, and then was released into a United States community under the policies of Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and this administration. He was released again after the crime, and now he's at large, and nobody has any clue as to where he is. Sarah had graduated from college just the day before with a 4.0 grade average. She was number one in her class, and she died a day after graduation, killed by a vicious animal that should never, ever have been out. Also among the victims of the Obama-Clinton open border policy was Grant Ronnebeck, a 21-year-old convenience store clerk from Mesa, Arizona. He was murdered by an illegal immigrant gang member, and by the way, day one, the gang members, the drug lords, they're out. They're out. Day one. They're going back to the country that they came from, which Hillary Clinton refused to do. She refused to pressure those countries to take these bad ones back. Because when we brought them back, they'd say, we don't want them, we don't want killers, we don't want them. She refused to take them. She refused to press. And so we take them back, okay? Those countries will take these people back so fast, you will not even believe it, okay? But he was killed by an illegal immigrant gang member previously convicted of burglary and other things, who also had been released from federal custody. Another victim is Kate Steinle, gunned down in a sanctuary city, San Francisco, by an illegal immigrant, deported 5 previous times. Sanctuary cities will be defunded quickly. Then there's the case of 90-year-old Earl Erlander, who was brutally beaten, savagely attacked, and left to bleed to death in his home. The perpetrators were illegal immigrants with criminal records who did not meet the Obama administration's priorities for removal, even though everybody said, get them out and get them out fast. In California, a 64-year-old Air Force veteran, Marilyn Ferris, was sexually assaulted and beaten to death with a hammer violently. Her killer had been arrested on multiple occasions, but for whatever reason, and nobody knows why, was never deported. Also in California, my good friend Jamil Shaw, great guy. Many of you have gotten to know Jamil. Lost his amazing son at the age of 17. Great football player, wonderful student, going to get scholarships to colleges. He was walking home to see his father. He was viciously shot and killed by an illegal immigrant with 3 gun charges as well as battery of a police officer. But he was not deported from our country, and nobody knows what's even happening with him. A 2011 report from the Government Accountability Office found that illegal immigrants and other non-citizens in our prisons and jails together had around 25,000 homicide arrests to their name. Homicide arrests. There are more than 2 million criminal aliens in this country right now. When I am president, we are getting them out, and we are getting them out fast. We are going to build the wall. Believe me. Believe me. Okay, are you ready? Who's going to pay for the wall? Who? They are. They don't know it yet, but they are. And you have to understand, they're great people. The Mexican people are incredible people. Their leaders are much smarter than our leaders. And between the border and trade, tremendous advantage is taken of the United States. Tremendous. Joe knows that. Everybody knows that. And we don't do anything about it. We don't, because we're led by people that don't know. Honestly, they're incompetent. They don't know what they're doing. Now, we have a massive trade deficit with Mexico. When you look at the trade deficit, and then when I say they're going to pay for the wall, you'll understand it exactly. Because the wall is peanuts compared to the trade deficit that we have. So when you have that kind of a trade deficit and you want something built, it's going to be paid for in one form or another by Mexico. You can count on it 100%. On top of that, illegal immigration costs our country more than $113 billion a year. For the money we're going to spend on illegal immigration over the next 10 years, we could provide 1 million at-risk, and you know, this is something I think that's very important, at-risk students with a voucher, with an education. We can help rebuild our inner cities. We can do so much with that money. So much. At the same time, our country is being infiltrated right now by terrorists. We're taking thousands and thousands of people into our country. We have no idea who they are, where they come from. Just yesterday, an immigrant from Bangladesh was charged in another plot having to do with ISIS. Hundreds of immigrants from high-risk regions have been implicated in terrorism inside the United States since 9/11. The terrorists who planted the bombs in New York and New Jersey and who carried out the mall stabbings in Minnesota were foreign nationals admitted into our country, as was the mall shooter in Washington. Or look at the cases like the Boston bombers here on asylum, or the San Bernardino shooter. You remember the San Bernardino? Where they gave a baby, they gave a shower for the baby. The same people that gave that beautiful shower for the baby, for their baby, were shot and killed. And they were here on a fiancé visa from Saudi Arabia. Who ever heard of a fiancé visa? And she probably radicalized him. Or the Orlando shooter, the son of a Taliban supporter from Afghanistan. I'm going to keep the terrorists the hell out of our country. Hillary Clinton wants a 550% increase in Syrian refugees. Hillary is for open borders. Just come on in, folks. Come right on in. Just take whatever you want. I'm not running to be president of the world. I'm running to be president of the United States, America first. For the first time in American history, thank you. For the first time in American history, we have the endorsement, as I said, of the ICE officers, the Border Patrol people, Sheriff Joe, so many, Jan, so many. So many people have endorsed us, especially over the last short period of time. They see what's happening. They see what's going on. They see a movement. By the way, the press is being driven crazy. They are being driven crazy. They have never seen anything like it. They are not happy. They have never seen anything like what's happening right now in our country. And it's a great thing. It's a great thing that's happening. They have never seen anything like it. Don't we love it? Don't we love it? We are going to build a wall. We are going to enforce our laws. And we are going to keep our people safe. The chaos, the violence, and the crime will come to an end beginning in January of 2017. We are going to end the government corruption. Hillary Clinton put her emails on an illegal server, open to foreign hacking. Then she bleached and destroyed 33,000 emails after the subpoena. She lied to Congress under oath, and her staffers took the Fifth Amendment and got immunity deals. It's worse than Watergate. It's worse than Watergate. The investigation of Hillary Clinton was rigged. It's a sham. And it's one of the saddest things that I've ever seen take place in our country. And now she's running for President of the United States. We become a banana republic. And today, we learned that the FBI made a deal, and it was a side deal that people didn't know about, with Clinton's top aides, that it was okay for them to destroy their laptops. This was just reported. Hillary Clinton is the ringleader of a criminal enterprise that has corrupted our government at the highest levels, and the American people have one chance to stop what's going on. Send your ballots in now and get out and vote on November 8th. Get out and vote. You have to vote. Don't let them take this away from us, folks, because they may talk about this great movement like they've never seen, but you know what? If we lose, it was a big, fat waste of time, energy, and at least in my case, a lot of money, I'll tell you. We're also going to fix our inner cities. 45% of African American youth live in poverty. 58% of African American youth don't have jobs. More than 3,000 people have been shot in the city of Chicago since the beginning of the year. Think of that. Since January, 3,000 people have been shot. Obama's hometown. Homicides are up nearly 50% in Washington, D.C., and more than 60% in Baltimore, and all other cities is a disaster. The Democrats, like Hillary Clinton, have run the inner cities for 50, 60, 70, and in some cases, even more than 100 years. They've produced only more joblessness, failing schools, and rising crime. They've horribly failed and abused our African American and Latino communities. To those African Americans and Latinos suffering in our country, I say very simply, what the hell do you have to lose? Vote for Donald Trump. I am going to fix it. I am going to fix it. It can't get much worse, and I say it. What do you have to lose? I'm going to fix it. To everyone in the country, I could almost say the same thing. You look at our massive debt. You look at our depleted military, greatest people on earth, our depleted military. You look at how badly our vets have been treated. You look at what they want to do with our Second Amendment. You look at so many things. You look at our borders that are, in some cases, non-existent. And I could say the same thing. What the hell do you have to lose? You look at $400 million in cash being paid. You look at the $1.7 billion, because when they said 400, they made a mistake. You look at the people that were going to be deported, 800 people. They were going to be deported for very serious reasons. But they made a mistake. And instead of deporting these people, guess what? They made them proudly United States citizens. But like the $400 million in cash, can you imagine what that looks like? But like they were wrong with that, they were wrong on the 800 people. Because now they're saying it was 1,700 people that were going to be deported and are now United States citizens. So I really do, I say to you folks too, I don't want to be negative. What the hell do you have to lose? We will have safe communities for everyone. School choice for your children. We're going to, by the way, end Common Core and bring education local. We're going to make great trade deals that bring jobs into our country and not out of our country. They're going to come into our country, folks, into our country. Everyone will be included in the new American dream. Here are the amazing things that we're going to do for our country starting in 2017. We are going to have the biggest job-creating tax cut since Ronald Reagan, and in some ways even bigger. Hillary Clinton is going to raise your taxes very substantially. We are going to eliminate every unnecessary regulation which is choking our companies, and she wants to increase regulations. Stop the jobs from leaving our country and going to other countries. If they want to do that, it's fine, but there will be retribution. There will be consequences to be paid. And it's not going to be very easy or cheap for them to send their product back into our country after all those people are let go. We are going to repeal and replace job-killing Obamacare. We are going to make child care affordable. We are going to save our Second Amendment, which is under siege. We are going to support the great men and women of law enforcement. We will rebuild our depleted military and take great care, finally, of our veterans. And we're going to appoint justices of the United States Supreme Court who will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. We are going to rebuild America. We are going to revitalize America. We are going to unite America. Imagine what our country could accomplish if we started working together as one people under one God, saluting one American flag. You're going to look back at this rally for the rest of your life. You're going to remember this day. We're going to make history. This is a movement like nobody has ever seen before. History will be made. You're going to look back at this event. And you're going to look back, more importantly, on November 8th when you cast your vote. And you are going to say it is the single greatest vote that you have ever cast, that it is the most important vote that you have ever cast. You are going to be proud of your country again. And you're going to be proud, hopefully, of your president again. A vote for me is a vote for change. And a vote for me is really and truly a vote for you. That's what it is. You're voting to believe in yourselves. A vote for common sense government, solutions to problems. That's what we need. It's a vote for jobs. It's a vote for a government of, by, and for the people. All together, we are going to make America wealthy again. We are going to make America strong again. We are going to make America safe again. And we are going to make America great again. We love you, November 8th. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you, everybody.